Hi everyone, Sue from IC Sugar. I've created a buttercream and fresh flour cake that you can make from home with minimal cake decorating equipment and tools. I hope you enjoy. I've used a double height cake tin, and you can see that I've actually lined it with wax paper, so when I pour in my cake mix it doesn't actually spill out over the top of the cake tin when it's baking. I did actually bake an extra small cake as well. I did want a triple height cake for this video. I used a butter cake mix here. It's a pretty basic mix, something that I've been using for many years. It's a pretty stable mix. It's always moist. Um, I've put together you can see here all of the tools that I've used. They're pretty basic stuff that you can actually purchase yourself from most shops. Florist tape, florist wire, bamboo skewers, ruler, turntable, scissors, and wire cutters, and of course your flowers. So this particular cake required 3 bunches of flowers. At the moment in Australia, due to COVID-19, it's really hard to get flowers, so I was pretty much stuck with what I could get. It just happened to be pink and white. You can see in the back of this video that I've got my cake board. You can really buy any cake. It needs to be a 10-inch, or that's what I've used for this particular one, but a silver board, gold board, black board, whatever you prefer. I haven't used any particular measuring tool or measuring equipment to cut the cake in half. I've just roughly chosen what I thought was the middle. The secret to a really good cake is to actually put the flat part of your cake on the very top. You can see in the next one that I'll turn it over, so I've got the bottom part of the cake tin on the top. And just a skewer to support the tiers. It's a pretty stable buttercream mix. Pasteurized egg white, icing sugar, whipped up so it's meringue-like, and butter. I don't refrigerate any of my cakes. This buttercream is really, really stable outside in normal temperature, so anything sort of between, anything up to 25 degrees. Anything over that you probably would need to refrigerate it. But standard room temperature should be fine. Just used a really basic butter knife. I haven't used a piping bag or piping tube. Buttercream cakes is something that I've been making for many years. I did have a large business at one stage, and I suppose every second cake we made was a buttercream cake. I quite like them. I think my favourite style of cake is sugar paste, where I can mould and design and paint. But buttercream is pretty nice if you want something pretty quick. Most of my cakes take any of my decorated cakes, anywhere between 10 and 30 hours, depending on the design. But a buttercream cake with some fresh flowers, you can sort of pretty much whip up in a few hours. So prior to any of the current cake decorating equipment, I used to just use a ruler to smooth my cake, and now you've got sort of a myriad of different tools and different shapes and and all sorts of styles to help you smooth your cake or put a really nice pattern on it. But yeah, I used to always just use a ruler. I do have here a T-shaped metal smoother, which I really like. And that did come from a cake decorating shop. So I suppose the only two items I've got here that you would need to purchase from a store would be the turntable, or a couple of items: the turntable, the board, and the smoother that I've got. But as I said, you can use a ruler. The flowers that I've got for this cake, they don't have herbicides or pesticides on them. I'm pretty careful to make sure that everything I use is edible and that you're not actually putting anything poisonous on a cake. So that's probably a pretty good tip, that when you go to buy flowers, do ask where they come from and what's actually on them. A lot of my cakes, I tend to use roses, daisies, violets are all pretty nice. Okay, so we're getting there now. We're sort of pretty smooth. So all up, this took me, probably about 3 hours from start to finish, and just filling a few little gaps and holes. Okay, so with the flowers, I use bamboo skewers and florist wire to tape up all the flowers. I make sure that I don't have any stem of the flower inserted into the cake. It's actually really unhygienic. So everything you see has been taped and it has been wired, and I tend to do them all individually. I try to design the top of my cakes so the flowers represent something that you might get from a florist. So it's sort of like a nice bouquet. Um, I tend not to sort of put them all on one side or all on the other. A nice pattern or a nice balance of the flowers from one end to the other looks good. So just filling it in here with a white. I've got a couple of different flowers here. So there's a white, a pink, and sort of a cream colour flower. So what I'll normally do is fill in all of the large gaps with the bigger flowers first. I then go through and fill in the next smallest gaps with some leaf or petals. And here we're just trying to balance out the bottom of the cake with a little bit of decoration. I have used a few wires. You can see there's a couple of wires that I've created curls just for a bit of interest. I'm just filling in the small gaps here with some loose petals. All right, so we should be finished soon. And look, this sort of cake would be quite nice for parties, weddings, and obviously Mother's Day. Okay, so here's the final product. Thank you all for watching my video. I very much appreciate it. If you have any questions, please feel free to send me a message and I'll make certain that I respond. Have a nice day. Thank you.